Just wait a couple minutes, see if this is actually picking up, and talk a little bit about space games. They're not well presented, I guess. It's going to be a quick stream, and we're going to go through Elite Dangerous a little bit. Like, how do you land on a planet and how the mechanic actually works. Since IGN kind of gave us an update that it's not going to be a seamless transition between you taking off from space to landing. I just want to make sure that we are doing well here and everything's running smooth and live. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's talk about this. Okay. I'm gonna fire up Elite, and we're gonna take a look at IGN has been saying and their report. Okay. Here we go. We are online. Okay, cool. Cool. Because I saw this and I thought about it, like, let's talk about it. And I think space games, they're not out for really quite some time. I mean, where did I see this? I actually retweeted this. Hold on 1 second. One second. Yeah, this is it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what IGN is stating here that people always has been asking, I think that's a very important feature that should have included into the game. That can you land your ship on a planet like something similar like No Man's Sky, right? Or Elite Dangerous for that thing. But you can't. It seems going to be through a loading screen, which just kind of sucks. And I think they kind of avoided that in the show. When I thought the game is still in development, maybe they're gonna implement that, but it seems they cannot do it. Maybe it's an engine limitation. Because when I saw the game and I thought, okay, this is very similar to Skyrim in terms of graphics. Well, a little bit updated in the engine, but if you look at the people and you go into conversation, you can tell that they are uh, not quite, I'll say, not quite dynamic. So here, Starfield doesn't let you fly seamlessly from space to the planet, and that's what they ask, and this is the answer. So the question was, can you fly the ship straight down to the planet? They say no. They decided early in the project that the on-surface is one reality, and then when you are in space, another reality. That's Todd Howard, and that's the article. And yeah, that kind of sucks, actually. They have a video about it, I guess. Okay, and oh, this goes back to Arabic. Okay, anyways, I wanted the English one. They put me back to the Middle East. Go back to the US. There we go. They have a full interview. That's 15 minutes long.
Welcome to Summer of Gaming.
So maybe you got to go check this interview. But that's the important question is, can you do that? No. What is other space games out there is Star Citizen, but that's still an alpha. And Star Citizen it won't come out. They are making money already. Robert Space Industries. Bludge Store. I mean, yeah, I don't want to enlist. I want to know the game. So that's Star Citizen. Yeah, they're co-oping with EVE Online now. The game's still in alpha, and if you wanna try the alpha, you gotta buy a ship with real money. So if you go play now, it will tell you buy a ship, $45 for this one, $70 for this one, and this is not out yet. They're supposed to have 2 times the games, like one for the online and one with the full campaign. They already have, A-list Hollywood actors. We're talking Gary Oldman, I think, and well, let me show you. It's on YouTube. If you look at Squadron 42. These are the actors. They have really Mark Hamill. I mean, they have really. This is about what, 4 years ago? Cinematic teaser here. This was 2018. That's supposed to be the game, but it's a curse. I mean, space games are very hard to do. Very hard to do. And it's really a curse on space simulations.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
I mean, you can't tell who are these actors. And the game's supposed to be finished. They already.
I'm your new wingman, sir.
These are in-game engine 3D. They're already made. Got Mark Hamill.
Coil.
I forgot the actor's name.
Local scum use it for cover to launch attacks. This is their turf, so move when I'm moving. Keep your eyes open.
No sudden moves.
Who the hell are you?
We're OMC. And OMC belongs to Sato Khan. Is that your boss? Are we supposed to be scared of him or something? Yeah.
It's using Amazon LBR.
The OMC aren't the only ones listening into
engine.
comms.
They changed from CryEngine to this engine. I mean, they got really top actors. I mean, they already made money.
All ships.
But the
We're
game
under
seems
attack
to
by
be
Vandal
finished, right?
forces. Repeat, we are under attack.
There have been battles. There have been losses. Each and every one of you has proven yourself time and again. We will not lose the system. We will not fall back.
That's a recovery.
Cal. You on point. Copy that. Tally's on me. Let's say hi.
We will win. Because we have to.
That's supposed to be the gameplay. And that's the single player portion of this game. So this is 2018. They already teased it. So I'm guessing they already got the actors, put them in studio, make them do the motion capture and the dialogue and everything. So this is supposed to be finished a long time ago. You go to their official website, it's not there. You know, so you go. That's their official website. That's Star Citizen, and you can just play the alpha. That's all you can do. If you could click play now, it won't take you to Squadron 42. So these are the games, okay? Squadron 42, all that kind of stuff. You go, let's say, start the adventure. You'll see the trailer that we already did. You can pledge to it. So you already got the cast. I mean, they already did the motion capture for this. And when is it gonna come out? You can just pledge for $45. You are buying the game before the game is out, and we never know when this is gonna be out. So this guy is, I mean, they're really making money. I mean, Robert Space Industries, they're really making money. But they never make the game a full game. You go to Steam, any store, you type Squadron 42, you will not find it in any store. This is supposed to come out long time ago. Long time ago. I mean, the project started when I was in college. I mean, that was around 2011. And now we are in 2022. This game's not out. So it's really a curse. Here's the interview with Todd Howard, and this is what they said about Starfield. Let you fly. You cannot fly seamlessly. And this is something like I think a lot of people would like to see. There was in Gamescom one of the years how they showed Star Citizen, and that was really a long time ago. (2016) was it? Yeah. Oh my God, it's been ages. And they show you like you can fly from space and you can land.
Well,
That's
otherwise it gets a bit low.
that's a feature everybody's looking for. This is how it's supposed to be. And that was a demo. A live demo.
And as we get down into the atmosphere, it switches to a more atmospheric flight model. So there is drag, there is some small amount of sort of lift, sort of aerodynamic modeling. So if you have a ship like the Gladius, you'll fly better than something like the Aurora. So here we are. And anywhere on Del Mar, we could land, get out, and walk. So as we fly down here, perhaps, Chris, we could demonstrate and just land and get out somewhere, wherever you want.
So this co-pilot just left his ship.
Hey, Jared, you want to go back to the front view for a bit? Yeah, perfect. And then maybe do picture-in-picture, yeah, there we go. So there you are, Glenn's opening up the back. Chris is bringing us down.
People were waiting for this.
And then let's go to Glenn's view, Jared. That's perfect. There we go, beauty. And like pot out.
Yeah. You see, this is a live demo. And I don't know why this is not out. Why this is not out like a full game yet. It's not out. I don't know if it's going to be out or no. So with this news, I'm kind of disappointed about Starfield. I thought Starfield, they were probably going to do something here. But now my expectations with this game is going down very low after this happened. And can tell you The only game that can give you like this, I'm not giving them promotion or anything. I think Elite is one of the tough games actually out there, but it's the only game so far that gives you a little bit of hope. And it's a game that's been in constant development, but at least it's a full functional game. But still, it's not the business side of things. Well, not the business, I will say. The gameplay side of things, it needs to be addressed. So, try and look at my control. We're gonna fire up Elite Dangerous, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about in a second here, because that's the only game that can do something about it. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this here a little bit on. Be right back. Don't leave. Just starting a game here. And I'm gonna show you that's the only game. And this is a curse, my man. I mean, what I mean by a curse, it's it's a game that is kind of hard. Like space games is very hard to implement. Very hard to implement. That you can get into a ship, climb in, go to space, go to planet, and land. And you need to do that seamlessly. And I thought with today's technology it's possible, but I guess they're hitting some kind of limitations. But Chris Roberts and his team, they made it, so it is possible. However, they did not finish it yet. They did not do a full game, which is kind of unfortunate. And it's been ages, and I don't know if this is going to come out or not. They're already making money, so why would they let the game come out? Okay. So I think only Frontier got this little bit. I mean, No Man's Sky, I'm going to go with No Man's Sky, but No Man's Sky doesn't have the same depth as Elite. And still, Elite is not a perfect game. It still needs a lot of work. Elite Dangerous. That's the only game that gives you that ability. That's the only game so far that I can think of. If you know a game that gives you that feature, please let me know. Well, I don't think there's any other game that gives you that transition. That's been loading graphics now. Don't worry, it's going to be fast. This game always updating. But still, they got key features that I talked about a couple streams ago. It has limitations, doesn't attract players to it. And I wish they worked this out so people will go ahead and buy their product. More people go ahead and buy it. There's very little space games out there. So Starfield, I'm kind of disappointed. We need to wait until the game is out so we can test it and see how it actually goes. But I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. The other game that I can think of is this and Star Citizen. There's no other space simulation games out there. Chorus that I'm playing right now is arcadey, but it's not bad. It's mostly an arcade shooter in space, which is good. It has the classical way of jumping from system to system. Then you go through a jump gate. It doesn't have landing on planets, so you just hovering in space, doing shooting, landing into, like, let's say a small hangar, upgrade your ship, and that's it. Where this one, you're gonna go to planets, and there was a couple puzzles they actually put in there on planets that you go and you see, like ancient ruins and stuff like that, and then they put the aliens in there. So So that's wow. This is taking the time. It's really taking sweet time here. Doing the rendering of the planet generations here. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Why it's taking too long? Interesting. Okay. Here we go. So we are in a Python. Okay, so the plan here, I'm gonna take off, go to a nearby planet and land. Just to show you that it's not really seamless, there's some kind of transition. So first thing we need to do is make sure that the controller is plugged in and working in order. It was working. Why it's not working? Oh, that's because I used HOTAS before. Maybe you should use HOTAS. Okay, and let's use HOTAS. Okay. And let's see. Need to go to here, go to system. And anytime you see a planet like this, it means that it has an atmosphere and you can't land on it. So I want to zoom in, go to Z. There's going to be installations on it and you can land. Okay, there's zoom out is what C, zoom out is X. I want to go to a nearby planet. Let's see. We are here, so let's go to this planet. So there's a planet right next to us. It has a station. Okay. You can land anywhere actually. You don't have to be into a station. You can just mark your landing where you want to land. There's got a lot of stations here, small ones and big ones. Okay. So let's go somewhere there's actually light. So I wanna go here, for example. So this is where I want to go. Let's say find of interest. No. I want to land here. Can I mark this? Oh, you can land anywhere. Let's just plot route. See if we can plot a route to it. Anyway. So the planet right next to us, right? What's it called? It's called Dying Quandary AB. Okay, so let's go back. Dying Quandary AB. Here we go. Just log this destination. Okay, and let's take off. Watch. This sensation that you take off and shit, all that kind of stuff. That's a very important.
Shields offline. Thermal signature restored. Cannot comply. Cannot comply. Cargo scoop retracted.
There we go. So many things on my desk. I need to clear it out. Okay, so you're gonna go to planet, and we're gonna show you how to land and how this is working. You need to go to the light side of the planet here. So we're gonna go and go cruise,
Frameshift drive
super
charging.
cruise.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Super cruise. Once you go through the atmosphere of the planet, you can see this blue line. It means they're gonna approaching the atmosphere.
Shields online.
So as you reach the atmosphere, it goes in you got the outer atmosphere here, and you can land anywhere actually. When you enter the atmosphere of the planet, it become a little bit flat.
Orbital flight engaged.
So you go into orbital flight. And you go to this transition here. It's called glide. Glide phase. Kind of breaking the atmosphere of the planet. And this is not atmospheric. So you see glide engaged. You go into the glide. And there's something right in front of us here. Just an anomaly here. And you are now in the gravitational field of the planet. It's a very little gravitational field. It shows you the HUD's 0.13 G. Not much here. So very low gravity. See, there's no atmosphere, but they introduced atmospheric planets. I don't know where they are located, but and how do you identify them from the map? But they are there, and they have different atmospheres, like blue, sometimes yellow, sometimes red. This one non-atmospheric, so it's like the moon. We're approaching here, so we can land. And you can land anywhere. And our altitude so far is 2,000 kilometers above ground, reaching 2,000, reaching 1.8, 1.7. As we approach, it's going to tell you in the map here. There's another bogey coming in our radar, in our contact list here. Left. Let me level off. There we go. So reduce speed here. Go watching my landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
And as you can see, it shows here in the HUD what's going on. But this is telling me the surface is not flat. Not land on it. As you see, it's blue. That means it's a good terrain, and you can visualize with your eyes. Let's see. Very slow here. I think this looks flat enough. There we go. Alignment is okay, and you can land slowly. Not down at your ship, and don't crash. There we go. And you can disembark. Oh no, exit this. Where's the... Oh. There you go. Now, you can disembark on foot. This is a new feature with Odyssey. You can go with the MRV, but I don't have an MRV available. Let's go on foot. And disembark. Now we are on foot. That's first person. And you can walk around in space and look at your shit. How big is it? It's a huge ship, actually. Good size. I cannot move my mouse a lot. I don't have room on my desk. Okay, here we go. So this feature, only Elite Dangerous and maybe No Man's Sky can do it. In terms of a space game that I can think of. And they introduced, like, you know, missions and stuff. We need to take off. And you can cruise around here, so. Because it's gonna be, it's a big planet, it's very barren unless there's a point of interest you can go to. And I think that's the curse of space games. Let's go board. Pilot. Take off. Take gear up.
Landing gear retracted.
There's something behind us. There's something here. What is this? Energy wake. Somebody broke out the atmosphere. You can just fly, stuff like that. That's it. Now this, I was hoping Starfield would have that feature, but it doesn't. And it goes into, it's not pretty seamless. You go to a glide from a glide. I don't know if this is scientific or not. I'm not sure why they decided to make it this way. But that feature is missing in Starfield, which is kind of disappointing. Really, really disappointing. And I was hoping they can do it. This game is available on console. This is available on PS4. I don't know if Odyssey came to PS4. I'm not sure. Now I'm playing this on PC. Going vertical here and go Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging.
And escape vector. And then we need to go
4, 3,
to our station.
engage.
And land in there. Ray Gateway. You see Ray Gateway here. There's a lot of user carriers here. Okay. I think we exited the planet atmosphere already. Already did. Yep. Let's get toward the station. Slow down. It's pretty close. Using HOTAS really adds to the atmosphere, but it's just on foot, you gotta use keyboard and mouse. Unless you use a controller and put everything into controller, you can do all controls from controller. Here we go.
LAC Kilo Alpha Lima. We've prepared a landing pad for your arrival, Commander. Welcome to our station.
Here we go. Request docking.
Request approved. Cleared for landing on docking bay 1-1.
Find your ship. Go in.
Scan detected.
Landing gear. So our landing pad is 11. That depth, it has to be in every space game. So far, only we can do it. There's a ship behind me trying to get in as well.
Scan detected.
Gonna go ahead of it. Oh, it's ramming me actually.
Caution. Maintain safe separation.
Yeah, but this ship is not giving me room. Landing pad 11 is here. Land here. Here we go. Refuel. Where are you, fuel?
Landing successful. Dispatching ground crew. Report to station services for more information, Commander.
And again, just leave and walk around the space station you're on. But it's not seamless. The only one who showed seamless stuff like this is Star Citizen. I don't know if this is going to come up to the life, man. Or is it just a big fraud? Who knows? But this guy made money already. So now you are on foot into space station. And you can just go walk into the space station and take missions if you want for on-foot missions. So I'm using mouse and keyboard here for on-foot controls. You can just go to lobby. You can take a look at the ship here. That's a good ship. Now you can appreciate the sizes of these things. And just go in. Yeah, go to Ray Gateway. Oh, what did I hit? I hit something. You see other people in here sitting. This can give you a mission. Like this guy is a mission provider. There's another one who give you a mission. Let's say go land, go pick up some data on some missing satellite or whatever. And then you can just sit here and look at the station. It's the size of this thing.
Interested in a job? I'm looking for the right person to do the wrong thing.
For the right person to do the wrong thing. That's it. So the only one who delivered this experience so far is them. No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky, I should have go and play it again. Two-hander. The No Man's Sky will not give you the same combat here. Will not give you the landing here. The control, the full ship controls. These guys got the core of a space game good. But they need to expand big time. They're gonna need to expand. And I mean, what they need to expand, they need to make the game more appealing to players. Okay. Select seat, board. Okay. So let's say you go to the Starboard mission series. Like I talked about this before. Let's say you started playing the game, you're on the Sidewinder. You want to buy a better ship. You want to do exploring. You don't want to go combat or anything like that. Okay. So purchase ships. And you look at those small ships. These are good for a little bit combat. This probably can do some hauling missions, but you're not going to get some benefit out of it. But once you get to a good explorer, for example, like the Asp Explorer, that's a good explorer. And that's without the fitting. And look at the price of it. This is, by the way, this is 15% off here at this station, Ray Gateway. So it's 5,661,981 credits. You see my balance here, 295 million, but that's because I've been playing this game for years. You know, it's not. And I've been doing tricks here and there. But every time we find a trick, well, the community is, they go ahead and nerf it. So when you go to mission board, this is where you start, okay? You can do community goals, which is give you a little bit more benefit, but this is a weekly thing. It's a weekly payout, but it's good. You can get maybe 10, 15 million from a weekly payout. It's not bad. But when you go to a mission board, and you look, say, I don't want to do combat, I'll just do transportation. Carrying goods from here to here. But you need to be very thorough. You need to read this mission. What is it? So these are like these ones could be dangerous. The red ones here. This could be good. But this could be also dangerous. If you go look, read at it. It says your mission to liberate 8 commercial samples. This cargo is unique to the mission, cannot be replaced of loss. It's threat level 5, so it's going to be dangerous here. See, I don't want to do this. Go back. I want to see. Okay, 72 units evacuation shelter. So I take 14 units of this. No, 72 units of this. So let's read. Convoy goods to Fraser Settlement and DYI system. The cargo is unique. So they'll give you 72 units of this evacuation shelter. You take them to point to that location, which you can see here in the galaxy map. You can check it. And it's going to tell you cargo. This delivered to Cobra Wing. And there's a failure. Fine, but you can do it, no problem. 773,000. So how many missions you can do these? If the average is around 700,000, but you can find a couple of good missions. The reason I want you to play in groups like this thing, 1,278 units. This require a lot of people working on that mission, but everybody gonna get paid out 2.7 million, which is not bad. But unless you have a big group of people who are within your local time, I mean, they all like come out of work at the same amount of time. They all into this game. They all playing like you. They all have the same mentality as you. Just kind of hard, very hard to find these days. So here, like this one's good. It's 10 million. Yeah, you can get an Asp Explorer after you do this mission. But it requires a lot of work. You took 5,928 units of things. Your cargo can hold how much? So I back out here. Even if you got a big ship with a big cargo, it won't carry that much. If you look at your ship here and see my cargo. My cargo can carry is 1,000. That's my cargo capacity. And they require what? 2,000? That's what's that mission says. But these mission board change with time. Okay. Where is it? Yeah, it's 7 million, 10 million. 5,900. So you gotta do 3 runs approximately. No. I carry 1,000. Oh, 5 to 6 runs. Okay. And that's very dangerous actually. This is a dangerous one. There's another one here. Gives me 10 million. Where was it? $5,000. Also 5,000. So The average of those 10 million missions is 5,000 units. So the quick solution to this, put a 0 in front of every mission here. Make it worthwhile. So people play this game so they can get into the ship they want. Not everybody wants to get an Anaconda. Believe me, Anaconda is a very good ship for carrying big cargo, but it's not agile. So not everybody want to get into Anaconda. If somebody want to explore, definitely they will not explore with an Anaconda. Anaconda is one of the biggest ships in here. So if you go purchase ship, I'm guessing they have one here. No, they don't have one. Yeah, here they have an Anaconda. Anaconda is 124 million. But believe me or not everybody wants to get into this ship. This Anaconda, I mean, yeah, it's appealing. It's very big. It's heavy. Even a Type 9 heavy. Python is a good sweet spot, I would say. Good combat vessel. You can carry a good amount of cargo. Jump capabilities not that high. I will say go for the ASP is better. You can engineer it to making, when I say engineer it, you go and meet with engineers. So this game has good depth. Okay, you go to what's called here the engineers, right? And you need to discover them. And you're gonna say, look, this guy can modify frame shift drives for you. But see, he have to do a lot of stuff in order to unlock it. Everything in this game is a grind. And I think that's a very bad thing. That would make me stop playing it for a while. But I think it's unique, and I don't think there's any other game like it so far. And so far, every other game they're trying to do a space game, they're not doing it right. So that's what I wanted to say this thing. I'm kind of disappointed that very disappointed that there isn't actually any good game out there that is actually a space simulator. Only Elite can do it, but Elite, it's took them years to reach Odyssey. And still they are in the process of improving this game. And it's still not a finished game. There are quick things they can do, but I don't know what's the mentality of grinding. The mentality of grinding takes the players away. If you don't feel you're playing any game, if you don't feel like you're doing progress, it will make you stop. You're not going to play it. You know, even though it has some unique things to it, you're probably not going to play it because it hinders your experience. Every time you don't feel like you're progressing, no matter, like even if it's a long game, like for example, I'll give you a long game here, Red Dead Redemption 2. It takes you an average to finish it around, I would say, from 50 to 60 hours. That's a long game to play. But you're going to reach the end. You're going to reach the story. You're always going to feel progress. You always engage in the world. It's a big open world, but you always engage in the world. And that's what makes Red Dead Redemption 2 is a very good game, actually. Now, you compare this with Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous is a far, huge world. We're talking the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, the galaxy that we live in. You can visit every star system. And some planets you can land on. And you're probably going to do discovery. And you got to thank the community for this. Okay? You're going to land and do discovery. It's pretty unique, but how many people are playing it? If I go and ask my friends who are gamers, do you play Elite Dangerous? They'll tell you, no, I don't play it. You go ask some other person, do you play Elite Dangerous? No. If you ask them, have you played Resident Evil 2, for example, the remake? They say yes. Big number of them are going to say yes. Even though that game is short, it's probably like 8 hours long or so. Or maybe you can fish it, less than 8 hours if you're really a speedrunner. But because they feel the game engaged, has replay value, you can unlock things, you have 2 scenarios, you can play, you can enjoy, there's a story, there's a closure. You're not, grinding. So that's why people go ahead and play this game and enjoy it. Okay. That's what makes a good game, that is actually attracting people from a game that's not attracting people. Space games, they're not hard to do. And I think Frontier reached a really good level, but they need to improve. And some of the things they can improve is very simple. I'm kind of disappointed that Starfield does not have that ability. And I'm guessing it's the engine. Their engine is not helping them at all with this thing. Star Citizen, I don't know. When this game comes out, please let me know. I don't know. This game has been in development for ages. And I thought by 2020, we'll have at least Squadron 42, which is the offline version of the game that has a campaign, story, actors. It's already been developed and finished. But it's never come out to people to actually go ahead and buy it. You cannot buy it. I cannot buy Squadron 42. This has been teased, 2018. It was a teaser trailer, and I thought this was going to be released soon. But you go and you look at it, and I don't think they actually going to release this game anytime soon. So you can try the alpha of Star Citizen, but this is not cool. I mean, you gotta pay $45 to go ahead and play it. It's only available on PC, and it's in alpha stage. It's not even beta. So think about this. They have their YouTube channel. They always say we are developing our game. I mean, and they are right now. Where are they? Are right now. They've been doing that. Like, they had a meeting 4 days ago. I don't know when this game gonna come out. When is this game gonna come out? Look at this. When is this game gonna come out? But the game's not out. It's alpha. All this, what you see here, is alpha. They tell we are in alpha, something like this. I mean, besides Star Citizens, for example.
The Ninetales are professional criminal operators with a high skill level, but what makes them different is kind of how they don't care about hiding their activities. They're a little bit flashier than you would expect. They're running gambling rings and stealing and doing protection rackets. The big mystery right now is everyone's trying to figure out what their motivations and goals are.
This is like a new faction they created.
When the Ninetales go out and they do certain missions, it's very clear that they know exactly what they're doing, that they've trained, that they've actually done drills for the exact.
So they've been doing this for quite some time. I want to know, where did they reach? Where did they reach in terms of development of this game? They got engine and graphics questions here. That's a month ago.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live Engine and Graphics Q&A. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Welcome once again back to my half IKEA, half still unpacked luggage home office. I'm Jared Huckabee, creative content lead for Cloud Imperium Games, Robert Space Industries. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of our week and chat with some developers, usually about their work, usually about the stuff that they're either working on or the stuff they're about to work on, or the stuff that they've worked on in the past that people still have questions and stuff about. Joining us on the show this week is a menagerie of engine and graphics programmers, directors and sorts. So let's take a few moments as we usually do and introduce our coterie of developers.
I
this
see
week.
they have questions
Starting,
here.
to my immediate right with the lovely blue gradient background, Jonas. Who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Hi, I'm Jonas. I'm working for Star Citizen since 1.5 years, roughly. And I was mainly doing core engine work, like doing profiling tools or internal stuff. One of the fruits of that you could likely see in the last patch with a good performance improvement. We found that due to the new profiling tools or improved profiling tools.
Of things like wherever I'm needed, I'll just jump in and fix bugs or whatever is required. Well, I'm there.
All right, fair enough. And a man who probably needs no introduction, but we're going to do it anyway because every show is somebody's first show. Mr. Ali Brown, who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Hey, I'm Ali Brown. I'm the Director of Graphics Engineering. So cover the graphics department.
So let's see this.
How is the graphics system going to accommodate large fleet battles? Greater than 50 fighters plus multiple capital ships. The lighting budget alone would seem too crazy for that scenario as things are right now. What do you got for me, Jonas?
Yeah. Right now you will very likely be CPU bound in this situation because so many ships, they all need to go through the render thread alone. But with the upcoming Gen 12 changes, it's hopeful the changes that we make will very likely improve that, at least from the rendering side, because we can distribute the work more evenly across your CPU cores, and that should help there. But of course, there are other systems than just rendering that you need to keep in mind. For example, AI or game code or physics or whatever that also take the part on the CPU. So
this is the answer right here. That's good. So if you make your projects way too huge and you don't have the hardware for it, how are you gonna make it run? Not everybody got 10 core CPUs, right? The most mainstream CPUs are 8 with 16 threads. Very few got 10, 20. Some people got maybe 16, 16 cores and stuff. But if you want to run this on the majority of people, you should really think about, the hardware. And that's why you cannot make your project very big. But at least the single player campaign, you should have control over this. Meaning how many ships you put in there, the space that you're working on. Is it confined space? Is it big open world? Are you going from phase to phase, transition to transition, the same way as Elite Dangerous made it? There's transitioning going from one space to another. So I was in a station, got out, get into a space, and then from that space we did super cruise, which makes you leave that space around the station and then go to the space right next to the planet, and then you go to a glide. So then you go to another phase, which is called a glide, and then from that phase you go to another phase, which is landing your spaceship on a planet. You cannot do that seamlessly because hardware limitations. You need to put accountability to hardware. So when you go here and see what hardware do I have to play this game, okay, you go how to play, for example, you want to know where's the hardware? Doesn't even show me, huh? There has to have some kind of support here. Type of hardware you need to have. Technical support. This is about issues here. Where is the system requirement for this? Interesting. Interesting. There's no system requirements. How to play. Guide. Say play. Download the game. Request a guide. Play together. How do you download the game? Can you just download it? Oh, it's actually downloading around the setup. Find a guide. Okay. I don't know if I install this and try it myself because I need to buy a ship. I don't have a ship. I want to learn what is the system requirements though. They have their own chat here. Seems like it. That's the staff. System. This is one hell of a way to put system requirements, man. It's not even here. Minimum system requirements update. Okay. Let's go. So the sausage in, that's the alpha they are going into. 3.17. They're still on DirectX 11. This is when? April 29th. That's pretty soon. That's actually a couple months old. So what are the system requirements in here? At least Windows 7. Windows 7 not supported. So you need to at least have Windows 10, huh? Note that Windows 7 does not support the feature regardless GPU. So Windows 10, you need Windows 10. And what about RAM? What about RAM, GPU, all that kind of stuff? Is this the image of the hardware requirement? This is somebody's system. That's a 3080, and there's around 26 RAM. No, it's actually it's a shared memory. 16 RAM maybe. Yeah, 16 RAM. That's the 10 gigabytes of that 3080. Okay, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how this, what is the system requirement here? Link to the official minimum system requirement. Here we go. This is what you need to put in the first place. See, in Windows 8 or 10, quad core CPU, I don't know. I mean, this guy just said you have gonna run into limitations. So quad core CPU, I don't think it's gonna cut it. You need to be at least 8. And then they say DirectX 11. Okay, 3 gigabyte VRAM. No, you need at least 8. 16. Okay, memory 16. Storage, yeah. Recommended. Here we go. Also quad core CPU. That's kind of interesting. Really interesting. I don't think I'm gonna run it really smooth. I mean that thing downloaded the installer. It's like, yeah, go ahead, download it. I'm not gonna play. I don't have a ship. That's quite interesting. Yeah, it's running the installer here. I'm not gonna run it. So yeah, I'm curious. The space games here, and this is alpha, by the way. When I'm gonna, it's 3.17 alpha. It's not a full game. Not a full game yet. So let me tell you, the curse of space games is still hovering around. So far, Elite is not. And Elite is not a. It's not a Saint or a Gold or an Angel game. No, it has issues also. That's what I wanted to put out. I'm just curious if this guy is saying that we're gonna run into these situations here, how this is gonna work.
Jet12 will, of course, improve it, but yeah, it's hard to say how much. Sorry.
All right.
I was going to say on the lighting side, because that was mentioned in the question as well. The lighting tends not to be a big issue in space. Obviously, space is mostly pretty dark. Not too many, not too much light going around there. We obviously can potentially have lights on the lasers, but they're quite easy also to type of LOD out if we were particularly struggling for performance. Ironically, we're in a big ship battle. One of the things that hurts us quite hard is the interior of the spaceships. We don't have a great way of not rendering the interiors of spaceships. So obviously if you can't see a window, then we color them out, or if they're very far away, we color them out. But if you can see in the spaceship, or you have something like the 600i with all of its glass, you can't just not render it. You need an approximation of what's inside that room, and that's quite difficult to make. You know, you can't just fade it to black because say 600i is a very bright interior. If it just fades to black, it looks really bizarre. So one thing we were planning is to use type of we have these cube maps, we call them environment probes, which type of are used in the lighting system to type of capture the environment and then reflect it as a substitute for type of more advanced ray tracing reflections. So we were planning on using them to type of render a low quality version of the room. The type of would be indistinguishable at the distances we're talking about, but would be the correct colors and have the correct type of geometry in there. So that will give us a way of basically coloring all the interiors of the ships when we've got a massive fleet battle going on. And
so this game is still in development, and they're still figuring things out. And this is pretty recent. So I don't know. Games like this is a big ambition. So one way to, work around it, don't make it big. Just don't make it big. Like make it, I don't know. Like they start in Starfield, they say they have 1,000 star system. Don't make it big. Make it, I don't know, maybe 50 star system. And 50 is a good number. If you put each system with the planet, with everything on a planet, and we're talking dynamic planet, you go into planets like Star Wars, you go ahead and land, and there's a station, you go and you drive around in the planet, there's civilization there, you can go and so you make the planet really a planet. In Elite Dangerous right now, they are mostly barren. You will find maybe one or two outposts, and that's it. Or you find a puzzle, like a ruins or something like that, and that's it. That's it. You will not find like a full working planet. Like a city. You will not see that. And I don't think Alpha Star Citizen I don't think it's actually there. I don't know. You got to go check it out. Anyway, that's what I have for time for now. Disappointed that Starfield, I thought Starfield will start something. This game has been in development for really quite some time. This is the dream of 20 years in the making, but hardware limitations again. And the problem is you go too big. You don't have to go too big. Don't go too big. Go the decent size and have an advantage, like a very good advanced vertical slice. What I mean by vertical slice, imagine a cake. You're cutting this cake vertically so you can see all the layers, right? Now, this is the game how it's supposed to be. Imagine you want to start the game, okay? So how are you going to start the game? You want the game is to be a space sim. How am I going to make a space sim? The players would like to customize their player. You would like to have their own ship. They'll customize it to their own identity. They're going to put logos, colors, and stuff. Customize, like the same customization in car games, right? You can go and put the color you like, put the body kit that you like and stuff like that. The same thing you're going to put this into. This time it's not a car, it's a spaceship. Now, the problem with the spaceship is spaceship can move in 6 axis? We're talking you can go front, backwards, up, down, and strafe, right and left. So you have like multiple directions, right? So you need to figure out the core of the movement of the space system, spaceship, how the spaceship gonna move, and figure out that core. That core already had been figured out by Frontier. You can control the ship. Very easy, very simple, with either controller or a HOTAS. So they put that really well. You can go super cruise. You can jump from system to system. So that core is already exists. So you need to implement that core. Okay, I figured out the core. Now what to do? Okay, how many ships you can make, and how the ship is going to be rendered. You're going to put fully interior. You're going to put just like Frontier. They were smart. They say, we'll not walk around the ship, but we're going to put a really good size into it. You're going to be stuck into the cockpit, but the cockpit is fully rendered, and that's it. Star doesn't know. You walk around, you go and climb down. Other games, it's a phase. Let's say if you play Jedi Fallen Order. In Jedi Fallen Order, you have your own ship, right? But you walk around it, but you will not fly seamlessly. And you don't have any flying missions. Just walk around the ship, jump to the jump seat, and that's it. It's going to jump you from one system to that system. But you don't want that to happen. You want to really fly the ship, put your guns, you want to shoot. This is more engaging, I would say. Well, that's to me, I'm guessing. But I'm guessing other players probably would like that to have. Okay, I think that's a very important feature. That's in my opinion. So you already figure out the core and how how the spaceship should fly and all that kind of stuff. Then you need to figure out the star system. How big is it? What is in that star system? How am I gonna make that star system really have a civilization in there? And that's a big question. Here we enter hardware limitations. Now, how many things you can render on screen, and what the hardware requirements for that to be a reality. If you play No Man's Sky, you cannot render a lot of things on screen. The same thing here with Elite Dangerous. Not much. You can put a planet, couple of planets in the background, depending on your phase. And I mean, in Frontier, how they did it into phases. Like, you go to a certain point, and when you reach that certain point, that world will actually go to load. And then once that world actually loads into screen, then it's going to render the whole phase to it. I mean, for example, what we did, we went to Super Cruise, right? And then we approached the planet. Once you approach the planet, it's actually loading that planet, makes it closer to you. But once you go to the gliding phase, it's actually loading the atmosphere of the planet. It's loading everything in the background, and they put you into glide mode. And then once you land, then it loads the planet, and then it's going to load in the background what's actually on that planet. But the question is why that planet is barren. There's not much on it because hardware limitations again. Because they have a big space. You have so many planets in there. That game in terms of space, I don't know how big is it. Is this a hard drive? Let's take a look here. In terms of hardware, we go and say Elite Dangerous. Let's try to see the properties of this game. Local file 70, almost 70, 69.4 gigabyte of space in terms of hard drive. But that game has a really not high amount of system requirement. The system requirement of Elite Dangerous Odyssey is you need a Core i7-377 quad-core CPU. I mean, that's why. You want to make things bigger, load more things, you're going to increase the hardware requirements. Where do you need to start? This is where you need to start on console. And you start on this generation console. And keep in mind, this generation console is way behind to mostly modern PCs. Because this generation console, like whether it's a PS5 or Xbox Series X, the CPU almost the same. They all use AMD Ryzen. That is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU. In terms of a GPU, is a system on chip GPU, and I don't think it's even close to a 3080. It's like mostly like a 3070, 3060, 3070. Because when they say 4K 60 FPS, that 4K is not native. It's a checkerboard 4K, and because the CPU now can handle a little bit better, now they can push 60 frames. And now, this is where you need to start. That's a good starting point. Make the console is your starting point. Because if you go and do what the Robert Space Industry is doing, then you run into problems. They're saying, okay, we need to run this in the background. We need to put things in here. Because you make things big, 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 and you cannot control it. It goes out of hand. You got to go through phases and then see your hardware. You always have hardware limitations. There's always a limit. And you need to explore that limit. That limit does not mean that you cannot do everything in the game. No, you can do multiple things. Just don't go overboard. It's like you have a big, let's say you have a big truck. Okay, you have a big giant truck. You have a Ford F-150, right? You go to see how big is the gas tank on it, and you get filling this gas tank, but you cannot fill it more than it actually can carry. Yeah, you're gonna burn that gas tank, but that's the limitation to it. So this is again same thing here with the game. You have this really nice, interesting game. You can do a lot of things. Just don't put a lot of things into it to the point where you cannot do it anymore. You're gonna run into problems, and then you gotta compromise and cut the things from the game. And then, hey, you cannot do it. It's because you didn't plan it well in the first place. Figure this out. What they need to do is to figure this out. You can do transitions from one place to one place. That will solve the issue, or Starfield maybe. But does the engine allows you to do so? That's another thing that you need to figure it out. There was a demo on Unreal. Somebody did a demo. This was really cool. He was moving seamless from space to Earth and back and forth. That was really interesting demo. I don't know if I can see it, if I can find it. But I don't know what hardware he uses, what resources he used. And what resources we use. This has been 2 years, actually.
Hi, and welcome to this presentation on our new sky and atmosphere rendering that was first added to Unreal Engine 4.24.
So this was a couple years ago, 2 years ago. So this person from Unreal, he figured this out. So he did fully render, going from planet to space and back and forth. You see?
So you get a very dusty environment, and the other way around, if you bring it to 0, it gets reduced. And likewise so with absorption scale. So those are the 3 main settings you can use. You can also apply an override for the Rayleigh scattering color, so very different kind of alien environment if you wish. But that's the bulk of it. Now that being said, where this gets really, really cool, I think. First time I did this, when I first got my hands on this, it was eye-opening. You can go into space. In fact, the sky and atmosphere rendering is dependent on altitude. So if you were to go up with the camera, And you might need some fairly high camera settings here. So I'm using camera speed 6. I've got camera speed scale at 32. You might even make that 64 or something like that. You need fairly large numbers. I'm going to point the camera up and I'm going to fly up. You can see as I start flying up, the atmosphere actually starts to thin automatically. It's thinning, it's darkening. This is kind of a plane altitude. Keep going up, you eventually automatically go into space. This is amazing to see. You can see, in fact, if I start going up all the way, we've left the planet. We're now in space. The atmosphere is a sphere, and if you were to rotate the sun while in space, you get some really nice shading and effects that just automatically occur on the surface of the planet and on the atmosphere that surrounds the planet. In fact, I'm going to position the twilight zone over our playable area. Now I basically have this. You can see it's pitch black here, it's night over here. This is morning or sunset, whatever you want to call it. This is the twilight zone, and if you start going back into the surface here, into the area, you're getting this really nice blending of light. So this is amazing to play around with. A couple of other cool things about this. As you fly away, and again, you might need some very large numbers. I'm going to bump that up a bit more. I'll move the sun a little bit again. There's an option here called transform mode. By default, that is simply set at world origin. But if you set it at planet top at component transform, you can move the whole atmosphere. So that's a cool thing. There's another very cool thing is the fact that by having a setup like this, where essentially you actually have space surrounding an actual planet with an actual atmosphere, it means that if you were to want to simulate a moon, you can do so by placing an actual full-size moon into the environment. Over here, I've made a simple blueprint that holds two giant meshes. You can see there's nothing in here. It simply creates a material instance. If you look in the viewport, this might be a little bit difficult to see in here, but we've got two gigantic meshes, a moon of a moon and the main moon itself. But that's basically it. If you place that into the world, placing it, I'm going to put it to 0, 0, 0 just for artistic purposes. And what we've got now is we've got an actual moon in here. This is an actual 3D mesh. You can fly to it. In fact, we need even more speeds. And we're talking about millions and millions of units here. And it's, again, amazing to see, I think, that the engine is handling this so well, even though you're at massive scales. So we've flown to the actual moon. If you look at the surface of the planet, you can see that moon from the surface of the planet. It's a bit low in altitude, so I'm going to raise the altitude a little bit just for the sake of getting it to appear. And you can see we are dealing with immensely large numbers here. So I have 20 billion or whatever I just entered.
This guy figured this out.
The moon shows up and blends with the atmosphere automatically. If it gets evening, you actually get a half moon. You can get a full moon depending on where the sun is on the other side.
This is great work. This guy figured this out a long time ago. It's just you gotta read limitations. You gotta ask him what are your numbers you're hitting, how many CPU cores are you using, how much RAM you're utilizing, how much video RAM you're utilizing, all that kind of stuff. So if you just manage to do, let's see, one solar system fully detailed, that's more than enough to start a very good space sim. Even though you cannot travel from another system to another system. But you can travel from planet to planet. But you cannot just travel from planet to planet. You can just land, walk around, interact with NPCs, go to a city, do a mission. Make the world game engaging. If you can manage to do so, I think you're going to have a good space sim. For now, every space simulator out there it's hitting a limitation. Either you make the game world so big, or you thought so much, you didn't utilize the right tools, you did not use the right engine. You got to figure this out. But you cannot put things in the market. I mean, give me like Rover Space Industries already made money. They already made money with their game. They already made money. They already made money from an alpha. They cannot. I don't think that's why you don't see their product is coming to life. A lot of people think it's a big fraud. Yeah, it is. In a way, it is, because you don't see. But they already paid money for the actors and stuff. But already have that return on investment, because if everybody's going and buying a $45 ship, multiply by that by 1 million. So you already make 45 million maybe in 1 year. Why would they release a full-fledged game for $60? If people willingly going and buying $45 ship just to play alpha. So that's one question to think about, right? They're using different engine, not Unreal. That's Unreal 4, by the way. It's not Unreal 5. No, I don't know what advancement Unreal 5 can do. That was 2 years ago. So think about it. It's just a curse because they either don't use the right tools, they make it too big, they make it too grindy, they don't make it appealing, they do not have a good engaging story, they not doing it right. They're just not doing it right. The last good space game I played was Freelancer, and guess who did this? Chris Roberts from Robert Space Industries, the guy who is working on Star Citizen with his team. And I was looking forward to see Star Citizen, but it's never came to life. And Freelancer was back in the 90s. Talking 99, 98. You know how long this has been? It was a Microsoft game. It was only on PC. It has the classics that we've seen with Chorus, Jump Gate, and stuff like that. You go to your Jump Gate so you can jump from system to system. It was like that. We will not see a very good space game. The closest so far is Elite, and still Elite is not. It's not an Angel. Elite still has some issues, in my opinion. And people, the community, really pushing Elite. There's a tool for you to buy a ship. There's a tool for you to do trading. There's a tool for you to explore in Elite Dangerous. If it wasn't for those tools, I probably stopped playing Elite from years and years before. But because those tools makes the game a little bit much approachable, more friendly to play, I think that the community really pushed that game forward. The developer did their part as well sometimes, but I think there are a couple of things they could do much better. A lot of things they can do much better, and it will not require them to do a lot of work, very little work. Don't make the game grindy. I mean, don't make the game. A lot of things could make this product more appealing to people, and then put a story. There's no story. I mean, there's a universe, like there's a big giant meta story. There's people in power. There's people, they call them galactic powers and stuff like that. You pledge yourself to someone, and that's it. You get paid weekly, but you don't engage into it in NPC or conversations or something like that. No. There is a couple interesting points that they put into the game called voice acting, like they are voice acted or voice logs. They are very well acted, and I wish they put into a scene, but they didn't. They never put into a scene. You will reach like sometimes I run to space, and I remember that was a couple of years ago. I run into what's called the Generation ship. It's a very old classic ship that's been traveling for ages and stopped because it stopped working. Catastrophic event happened to it, and you scan it, and you get those data logs of the engineer telling you what happened to that ship. It really adds to the atmosphere of how space is big and vast, and why space travel has limitations, and how long this Generation ship has been in space. You just stumble upon it. Whenever people stumble upon it, they put it on Elite Dangerous message board. So you want to make the game engaging, go to their message board. You'll find very interesting stuff from people discovery on the game. But the game's too big. Again, the game is not easy to digest. I recommend visiting the channel Obsidian Ant from YouTube. He is very engaged into this game, and he always gives you an update. But so far, he's been showing other games as well, and he's into space sims a lot. So I'm going to show you his channel, Obsidian. He is very engaged into many things here. Like he puts materials about Star Citizen, Microsoft Flight Simulators, Starfield, and he has a special playlist for Elite. Space games, Elite Dangerous here. So this is a good tutorials, how to start the game. I've been watching and following this guy for really quite some time. Even the PS4, the console. Now I haven't played Warframe. So he, if you want Star Citizen, I think he's playing Star Citizen as well. So you have videos about Star Citizen. It's still an alpha, by the way. So, yeah, this is where, I mean, the space games, like I said, they are cursed. You need to think a little bit outside the box. Don't think traditional games. Don't think the problem is those developers, they work with companies, and these companies, they say, we want to make money as big as possible. It doesn't work that way. If they think about their history, it doesn't work that way. It never. One time in history, video game industry almost crashed. Almost crashed. You know why? Games used to be very expensive. Very expensive. Like $70, $80. And we're reaching that point right now. We're reaching that point again. History kind of repeats itself. And it was very expensive to get a console, not really appealing like it used to be. Now, even though the hardware is a little bit good, I mean, it's still not cheap, still a little bit expensive, but you can get a good console. You can get a PS5 or Series X with a good price. They are available in your market still. The problem is now, it's the software side. That's the problem now. Back then, even though games is $50, for example, but we're talking hardware, cartridge. You're putting RAMs and circuits into your system. Now you're buying things off the internet. It's just a CD which you put there. It's just code. So now it's should be less expensive, but still, I mean, we're talking companies and people working in these companies and developers, programmers, designers, all that kind of stuff. So they need to get paid, right? But still, you're not selling one or two copies. You're selling millions of copies here. If you make the game well, you're going to be selling for really quite a long period of time. That's the main thing they need to think about. Unfortunately, today we got microtransactions, DLCs, all that kind of stuff. But the good companies, they will give you DLC for free. They give you updates for free. By the way, Resident Evil 2, they made a PS5 update. So if you bought that on PS4, you can get it for free on PS5. But if you bought, let's say, Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, the PS5 upgrade, you have to pay money for it. And that's a Sony product. If you bought, what's the other game? Death Stranding, you got to pay extra to play it on the PS5. Jedi Fallen Order didn't pay anything. And today, Capcom, they show you again. You don't have to pay anything because you already bought the PS4 version. So you can get the PS5 version for free. So when they say game development is increasing in terms of cost, all that kind of stuff, again, I've been saying this multiple times, it's total BS. It's total BS. You think Capcom, they're losing money by doing so? No. Capcom thinking differently. Capcom thinking like, we have games that people will go ahead and we can monetize on things like, like, what's it called? Monster Hunter. You can monetize on these games. But we're gonna monetize with moderation. They're not gonna be greedy. Okay. But they're gonna monetize. They're gonna make money out of it. Resident Evil 2 already made a lot of good money good money from it. We're gonna give the updates for free. And you know why they're doing so? They're doing so they know how their engine is working. So this is going to be a benefit on the long term here. That's how Capcom thinks. I mean, at least that's my thinking, and I think that's why Capcom did it. Anyways, they're thinking like, okay, if we're gonna give this for free, we're gonna see how's the feedback on it on the PS5. We're gonna go on, check Digital Foundry on YouTube because they're gonna break it down for us, and we're gonna see where the game's doing good or bad, and they're gonna see a good feedback. Once they get a good feedback, they're gonna see if they can update this. So I'm guessing if you got the PS5 now version, probably a couple days later, you're going to get an update after they get the feedback. And then, when the new game comes out, like Resident Evil 4 Remake, you got to make sure that the game is polished enough for the PS5 and the updates on this engine itself, RE engine, for them to release that game. That's how a good developer thinks. And I think on the long run, you're going to go ahead and buy Resident Evil 4 Remake, even though, you know how many times I bought Resident Evil 4? I bought it on PS2, and then again I bought it on PS3, then again I bought it on PS4, then I got it on the Oculus, and I got it on PC, because the game is good. They're making the money out of the same game without monetization. Maybe they're selling it cheap for you, but they're making money out of the same product that is actually in there because the product is solid. It survives the time. But so they figure out that we need to really explore our engine. We did really huge development on RE engine, and we could use some of that on Resident Evil 4. And I'm not going to be surprised if they're going to make Resident Evil the original, they're going to remake it again. I'm not going to be surprised. And going to sell it for you with a good, decent price like $60, not $70, and they will not ask for extra for updates. That's how a good developer and company thinks. This is how they manage between money and the benefits out of it. So think about that. So when somebody tells you game development costs a lot of money, tell them